Hi there, my name is Rad and welcome to my channel. This video is gonna be all about PCOS, electrolysis, personal interest, hobbies, and stuff like that. I have always been passionate about advocating for PCOS, electrolysis. If you don't know what electrolysis is, that's okay. It's a only permanent hair removal that's out there, and I am myself an electrologist since 2020, and I would just love to educate people about this permanent hair removal because whenever there is some kind of hormonal imbalance, there is generally unwanted hair growth somewhere on your body, and primarily it's the face. It is very disheartening to have a full beard or anything like that. I want for people to know that there is a solution to their problem. I want to tell you that this is my personal experience with PCOS, receiving and also performing electrolysis. Yeah, I just want to give you a little insight into everything because it is quite a process to get electrolysis done. If you have ever done any type of research on this permanent hair removal, you might know that it takes several years in order to get rid of the hair permanently. My goal is to educate people on how electrolysis should look like, how it should feel like, and what they can in general expect during their treatments, in how long they can see any type of progress, what is normal, what is out of the ordinary, how crucial is electrolysis for people like me with PCOS or any other hormonal imbalance. I would love to introduce myself a little bit before I start giving you life advice here. I am originally from the Czech Republic. As you can tell, I have a little bit of the accent, which I have not always been proud of and trying to get rid of it actively. It's like, what am I gonna do? I need to put energy into more sensible things than just kind of obsess over my accent. I lived in the Czech Republic until about 2014. I graduated high school and I've decided I'm gonna move to England because it was kind of a dream of mine to live abroad. England was always on my top list because I loved London, I loved everything British. I took a bus because I was terrified of flying back then. I have found a job as an au pair in a little village outside of Oxford where I took care of two little girls, Lily and Erin. It was the time of my life. Honestly, I feel like the first 6 months of living there were rough because obviously there was a little bit of a cultural shock. Also, speaking English 24/7 was quite the ordeal for me back then. I moved to England to begin with to improve my English, and why not to take care of kids and learn from them because I feel like that's probably the best way to do it. I took English since second grade, I believe, and it was always a very much of a textbook English. It was an adjustment to actually speak the language because whenever they are testing you at school, it's very it's very rigid, if you will. So to give you an example, I memorized phrases in order to be able to speak the language, which I think you do in any language, and you have to go through that process. But I have gotten on a bus in England and I was like, "Good morning, sir. I would like one single ticket to London, please." And I remember the bus driver looking at me like I have just like came from a different planet. No one talks like that. It was an adjustment to kind of speak the language and separate yourself from the textbook rigid sentences and stuff like that. And so, like I said, taking care of the children and living with the family and being exposed to their everyday lifestyle was very helpful. So, if you're trying to improve the language, I would strongly recommend, submerging yourself into the culture itself because that's what did it for me. Still have the accent, which I don't mind. Only maybe sometimes when I go like to Costco on Sunday morning and say good morning, and they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'm like, really? I have to say, living abroad was a tremendous experience. Even though I have always planned to come back to Czech after the year of taking care of the two girls, I had a plan of going to college and studying English, funnily enough. And it just didn't work out that way. After my au pair job, I found a retail job with Michael Kors. Yeah, I just kind of got the taste of earning proper money, having paid vacation and everything like that. And yeah, I took it and just never went back. So I lived in England for about 4 years. I met my husband Cody over there. He was stationed there with the Air Force at the time. And so we dated, we got married in England, and then we moved on to the States. Our first stop as his last year in the Air Force was in New Mexico. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I was definitely questioning my choices a little bit there because it was a huge cultural shock, a huge adjustment for the lifestyle because growing up in Europe, you are walking everywhere, you are taking the public transport everywhere. You are just very mobile and can do a lot of things. But over there, it was a very isolating experience for the first few months because I wasn't driving. I didn't have a driver's license at the time. We lived on a base, so I was only kind of confined to the base. I've been there for about a year, so it wasn't too bad. The highlight of living in New Mexico was that we had a national park in our backyard, basically. White Sands, beautiful, beautiful area. Would recommend anyone to go visit if you are in that part of New Mexico. And then we were on to moving to Bend, Oregon, because Cody has found a program that he wanted to attend for schooling. So we moved here and we had a year of, discovering, trying to build our community and everything like that. And then COVID hit. Fast forwarding into 2025, we are enjoying our time here in Bend. I think we always played with the idea of going back to Europe, and that might happen still in the future. We have recently moved into a new house a little bit outside of Bend with a little bit of land. We basically got a different house because we love our two dogs, Arlo and Blue, and we love to give them a little more space than what we had before. We went through a lot of changes this past year, changing homes, I mean, moving homes. It's adjustment for our lifestyle because now we have a little bit more land and there's a lot of work, believe it or not, a lot of weeds to pull, a lot of dreams that we want to fulfill. We do make a lot of plans that end up being pushed out because we are running into different issues with the home, plumbing issue, water issue. There is a lot of work that we are putting in, and it's not even the fun stuff yet. But we will get there, and I am sure I will be posting it on here. Returning back to the original topic I wanted to talk about, I gave you a little bit of a background on myself, and now I want to dive in a little bit more into the PCOS piece. PCOS is a serious genetic, hormone, metabolic, and reproductive disorder that affects women. It is a leading cause of a female infertility. PCOS can lead to lifelong complications and other serious conditions, including severe anxiety, depression, obesity, endometrial cancer, type 2 diabetes, liver disease, and cardiovascular disease. Believe it or not, PCOS affects 1 in every 10 women. That's crazy, isn't it? If you're wondering if you have PCOS, you should be probably aware of these common signs and symptoms: excessive hair growth on your face or body, irregular periods, weight gain, obesity, small cyst on ovaries, insulin resistance, anxiety and depression, infertility, and male pattern hair loss. There is just a lot of these that are connected to PCOS. And I myself have been diagnosed with PCOS in 2022. I did know that there was something wrong since forever. I have had a lot of excessive hair growth in places that it's not supposed to be since I was about 12. And it was very disheartening for me because I couldn't just hang out in crop shirt or, put bikini whenever I wanted to and go to the lake or pool with my friends because I always have to kind of cover myself up or find excuses why I cannot go. I would wax it off or tweeze it off. It would come with a lot of irritated skin, for example. And so instead of having the hair in place, now I had these bumps or something I had to cover up. It's been a journey for me, and getting diagnosed back in 2022 was very helpful because I finally knew what is going on with me. I have collected multiple tools for how to fight PCOS and how to deal with it. And I feel like there is a power in knowing what is wrong with you because that way you can make some changes in your life. So, over the past few years, I've been collecting different people on my care team in order to fight this disorder because there are days where I just don't even want to get up from the bed because I'm so exhausted, filled up with anxiety, and just don't feel good in general. Getting diagnosed with PCOS took a while. So, as I told you, I got diagnosed back in 2022, and it took several doctors to go through before someone has discovered that I have this disorder. I believe it was four practitioners in total, a few people in England, few people here in the States. And so the reason how we discovered that I have PCOS was that I went to see my primary care physician. I thought I have a rupturing appendix. That's in how much pain I was, but it turned out to be that it was a bursting cyst. We got the ultrasound done and discovered PCOS. It was written black and white. Here I started my journey with a lot of different things. I personally said no to birth controls, which I am not demonizing it because I feel like birth control can be great solution for many people. But personally, I said no. I got put on metformin, which was, I believe, supposed to lower my insulin levels, which worked for me for a little bit there, but in the long run it wasn't great for me. Again, it can be great solution for some and maybe not so much for others, and I putting myself into that group because it completely ruined my gut health, and I had to shift it away from that. I've been doing acupuncture and Chinese herbs for about 2 years, and I have been able to reverse most of my symptoms that comes with PCOS. And in addition to working with a natural path and doing stuff a little bit more naturally, which again works for me, it doesn't have to work for you. I want to go more of the holistic way rather than being put on something that works, but they don't know why. Metformin is meant for people with diabetes. I just do not want to be taking something that's helping, but there is no proof of why it's helping. Yes, it's lowering your insulin levels, great, but in the long run, it's not the path I want to take personally. Let's tie in the hormonal imbalance PCOS with electrolysis. Like I've mentioned before, I have always had some unwanted hair growth that I fought over the years. I found myself an electrologist and gotten some electrolysis done. I got rid of my happy trail, my upper thighs that been stretching all the way to my knees. I've also had some hairs on my breasts, collarbones, face, and so the most of the hair that I've been always so ashamed of are gone. I'm still doing some work on my bikini area. I've been waxing for years and years, so there's a lot of stimulated hair growth in places. Electrolysis is a great tool for someone who is looking for having their hair gone forever. And so if you have done any research on electrolysis, that electrolysis is the only permanent hair removal that's out there, and it's not a laser. A lot of people get electrolysis and laser confused. Laser is a permanent hair reduction, while electrolysis is the only permanent hair removal that's out there. I have done laser before and obviously didn't work for me. I have light hair, and laser focuses on the melanin content in your hair. While electrolysis works on anyone, which is awesome. It works on any type of hair and any type of skin. So if you have light hair, ginger hair, black hair, you have dark skin, light skin, it doesn't matter. Electrolysis will work on you. And the reason for that is it's because we take this teeny tiny probe and insert it directly into that hair follicle and kill off the hair that way. Electrolysis will work for you 100%. The only downfall of electrolysis is that yes, it's a little bit painful and it's not a spa treatment and it does take time. But once you're done, electrolysis will get rid of the hair forever. Yay. Thank God. I think electrolysis has been discovered back in the 1800s by ophthalmologists, believe it or not. I think one of his patients had like an ingrown eyelash. And so he tried to apply electricity to his eyelid to get rid of that ingrown eyelash. Imagine that, 1800s, having a hot wire put near your eye. That is mind blowing to me. My overall goal on being on here and talking about electrolysis is for you to find yourself the right practitioner to receive the right treatment, walking away from your electrologist with not damaged skin, with the hair being removed correctly, and also you taking care of the skin in a meanwhile. So that way, a couple of years down the road, you all finished and you don't have scarring, because that's very unfortunate. You don't want to have hair removed and then have pitting or scars on your face or whenever on a body. And I feel like the more you know, you will get the most out of your electrolysis treatments and be finished as soon as possible. So I hope that this was a little bit useful to you. And if you're at all interested in these topics, please follow along, like this video, and I will go and tend to my tomatoes because that's what you apparently do in your 30s. Can you say goodbye for me? You say goodbye. You'll fit right in. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you on the next one.